Have you ever spent months looking forward to a trip, only to come home feeling strangely exhausted? The hotel was beautiful, the food was excellent, the destination looked exactly like the photos. And yet, a few days after returning home, you found yourself feeling drained, overwhelmed, and needing another vacation just to recover from your vacation. Most travel advice focuses on attractions, restaurants, famous landmarks, and bucket list experiences. But if you have ADHD, a sensitive nervous system, or simply feel overstimulated by modern life, there is a much more important question that almost nobody talks about. Not, where should I travel? But, how will my nervous system respond when I get there? Because every destination has a nervous system profile. Some places constantly pull your attention outward. Some environments create excitement, others create recovery. Some destinations leave you energized and inspired. Others quietly deplete your mental resources day after day, even when you're technically having a wonderful time. The truth is that choosing the right destination has very little to do with popularity and a great deal to do with understanding what your brain and body actually need. Today, I want to show you a completely different way of choosing where to travel, a way that goes beyond travel guides and social media recommendations and focuses instead on one simple goal: returning home with more energy than you had when you left. One of the biggest misconceptions about travel is the belief that all vacations are automatically restorative. Most people assume that if they are away from work and daily responsibilities, their nervous system will naturally recover. In reality, travel itself places demands on the brain. Even positive experiences require adaptation. New surroundings, unfamiliar routines, different languages, navigation challenges, transportation schedules, restaurants, crowds, and constant decision-making all require cognitive resources. For a nervous system that is already running close to capacity, this can become surprisingly exhausting. This is particularly important for many women with ADHD after 40. By midlife, many people are carrying years of accumulated stress. There may be work responsibilities, family obligations, hormonal changes, digital overload, and the constant pressure of modern life. The nervous system is often operating in a state of low-level activation long before the trip even begins. When that is the case, choosing the wrong destination can add even more stimulation to an already overloaded system. This is why two people can visit exactly the same place and have completely different experiences. One person comes home energized, inspired, and refreshed. The other returns feeling depleted and confused about why the vacation didn't provide the recovery they expected. The difference is often not the destination itself. The difference is whether the destination matched the needs of the nervous system. The first factor to consider is the overall stimulation level of the destination. Some places are naturally high stimulation environments. Large cities provide endless novelty, movement, noise, visual input, and social interaction. Every street presents something new to process. Every neighborhood requires decisions. Every day contains hundreds of small cognitive demands. For some people, this feels exciting and invigorating. For others, particularly during periods of burnout or overwhelm, it can feel like their attention is being pulled in 100 directions at once. Many ADHD adults spend their daily lives managing enormous amounts of stimulation already. Smartphones, emails, social media, notifications, traffic, conversations, deadlines, and endless streams of information create a constant background load. When that is your reality, adding even more stimulation during travel may not produce recovery. It may simply continue the same pattern in a different location. Sometimes, what the nervous system truly needs is not more novelty, but more spaciousness. The second factor is crowd density. This is something most people underestimate. Even when we are not actively interacting with other people, our brains continuously monitor social environments. We notice movement, proximity, facial expressions, potential obstacles, and subtle social dynamics. This process happens largely outside conscious awareness, yet it consumes energy. Crowded destinations require constant micro-adjustments. We navigate around people, wait in lines, monitor our belongings, adapt our pace, and process countless social signals throughout the day. For sensitive nervous systems, this continuous monitoring can become surprisingly draining. One reason many people feel immediate relief in smaller towns, coastal villages, or rural environments is that the brain simply has fewer variables to track. There is more space, more predictability, and less social complexity. The nervous system finally gets permission to relax its constant scanning of the environment. The third factor is sound. Noise is one of the most underestimated influences on nervous system health. Many ADHD brains already have difficulty filtering irrelevant information. When the environment is filled with traffic, sirens, construction, loud conversations, music, and constant background activity, the brain must work harder to determine what deserves attention and what can be ignored. Over time, this increases mental fatigue. Think about the difference between sitting at a busy intersection and sitting beside a quiet lake. Both environments contain sound, but they create completely different physiological responses. One continuously demands attention, the other allows attention to soften. Natural sounds such as birds, wind, water, and rustling leaves tend to feel less intrusive because they do not require the same level of cognitive filtering. When evaluating a destination, it is worth asking a simple question. What sounds am I likely to hear most often during the day? The answer may reveal more about its restorative potential than any travel brochure ever could. The fourth factor is architecture, and this is a topic that receives far less attention than it deserves. We often assume that architecture is simply aesthetic, but it also influences how the nervous system experiences an environment. Some places feel calm because they are visually coherent, streets are walkable, buildings share similar materials and proportions. The environment feels predictable and organized. Other places create visual overload through excessive signage, bright advertisements, chaotic traffic patterns, harsh lighting, and constant visual competition. Many people report feeling unusually calm in historic European towns without fully understanding why. Part of the reason is that these environments often contain elements that the nervous system finds easier to process. The scale feels human. The visual information feels organized rather than fragmented. The environment creates less cognitive friction. The result is often a subtle but noticeable sense of ease. The fifth factor is nature. If there is one variable that consistently appears in conversations about nervous system recovery, it is exposure to natural environments. Researchers studying attention restoration theory have proposed that nature engages our attention differently than modern environments. Cities require directed attention. We must focus, filter, decide, react, and monitor continuously. Nature allows attention to operate more effortlessly. We remain engaged, but without the same level of mental effort. This may explain why many people feel better after spending time near forests, coastlines, lakes, mountains, vineyards, or large parks. Nature creates opportunities for the brain to recover from the demands of constant cognitive control. Interestingly, this does not require remote wilderness. Even destinations with abundant greenery and access to natural spaces often feel dramatically different from environments dominated entirely by concrete and traffic. The sixth factor is climate. Climate influences mood, energy, sleep quality, activity levels, and overall comfort. Yet many travelers choose destinations based primarily on photographs rather than understanding how their bodies respond to different environmental conditions. Some people thrive in cooler temperatures. Others feel more relaxed in warmth. Some enjoy dry climates, while others feel physically better near the ocean. Heat, humidity, cold, and wind all place different demands on the body. Understanding your own responses can be extremely valuable. A destination that appears ideal on paper may leave you feeling uncomfortable every day if the climate does not suit your physiology. Paying attention to how your body responds to different environments often provides better guidance than following popular travel recommendations. The final factor is travel speed. This may be the most important variable of all. Modern travel culture often celebrates maximizing experiences. We are encouraged to visit multiple cities, see every attraction, and make every day productive. The problem is that movement itself consumes energy. Every hotel change requires adaptation. Every transportation day requires planning. Every new environment demands orientation. Every decision draws from the same mental resources that many ADHD adults already struggle to protect. Slow travel often produces a completely different experience. Staying longer in one location allows the brain to establish familiarity. Daily routines emerge naturally. The environment becomes predictable. Decision fatigue decreases. The nervous system no longer spends every day adapting to something new. Instead, it begins to settle. For many people, especially those dealing with chronic overstimulation, this is where true recovery begins. When choosing a destination, I encourage you to stop asking where you should go and start asking what your nervous system needs. If you have spent months feeling overwhelmed, overstimulated, exhausted, and mentally scattered, the answer may not be another exciting city filled with attractions. The answer may be somewhere quieter, greener, slower, and more spacious. If you have been feeling isolated, bored, and understimulated, the answer may be exactly the opposite. The destination itself is not the goal. The goal is the nervous system outcome. How do you want to feel when you return home? More rested, more creative, more energized, more connected to yourself, more emotionally regulated? Once you answer that question, choosing the right destination becomes much easier. Because the best vacation is not necessarily the most impressive one. It is the one that gives your nervous system exactly what it has been missing. And in a world that constantly asks for more attention, more speed, more productivity, and more stimulation, learning how to travel in a way that truly supports your nervous system may be one of the most valuable skills you can develop. If you're interested in ADHD, nervous system health, slow living, and restorative travel, make sure to subscribe to Complex Brain Living. I publish a new video every Wednesday and Sunday exploring how to build more energy, more calm, and a better life with a complex brain. And I'd love to know in the comments, what kind of destination helps your nervous system recover most? Is it the coast, the mountains, a quiet village, a historic town, or somewhere completely different? Let me know below.